This is the plaintiff, John Boulay. He says he was hired by the defendants to do some painting in their house and they still owe him money, even though he completed the job. He worked his butt off for the defendants and can't understand why they're being so difficult in paying him what they owe him. He has no other choice but to bring them to court today so the judge can force them to pay up and is suing for the $1,080 he's owed. These are the defendants, Anthony and Nancy Gagliardi. Nancy says the plaintiff was in a big rush with the job because he didn't prep any of her walls before he started painting. The guy painted over nails, for crying out loud. Who does that? He also painted over cobwebs and left dripping paint all over the place. The guy should have been happy with the money he did get out of him because the job he did was a disaster and needs to be redone by a professional. They're accused of pooping out on a poor painter. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $1,925, the cost of the new job.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff painted the defendant's house and got stiffed. But the defendants say the guy was so lame, he was painting over nails. It's the case of nail me, I'll nail you.
Thank you, Douglas. John Boulay?
Yes.
You are suing on behalf of your company, John Boulay Painting, Anthony Gagliardi and Nancy Gagliardi.
Yes.
Right? For $1,080, $750 of it, the balance owed on a paint job that they didn't pay you for, $300 of it for extras that you did that you now want to be paid for, and $30 for a bank fee because you bounced a check because they didn't pay you. Yeah. They have a counterclaim against you for $1,925 for the amount that they paid you for the paint job and the amount that they didn't pay you for the paint job.
Right.
How do you sue for something you didn't pay?
Well, I'm just
It's fascinating. Wait, you know what? I want to save it. It's like the dessert. Hold on. Okay, let me hear from you.
Okay, on the 15th, I started setting up the job, putting plastic covers everywhere, and during the day I started the job, and the mister came home, and came upstairs, he's walking around over my wet drop cloths and stuff, and he says to me about Nancy here had painted part of the hallway and she rolled right over the woodwork and everything. So he says to me, you're going to clean that up. And I said, I didn't paint that area. Your wife did.
You were saying that a prior paint job is what spilled that paint.
It's what the roller, when she rolled the wall, she went right down and hit the trim.
And how do you know that? She told you?
Oh yeah, we talked about it. She
so
said,
when he said that to you, did she correct him?
I don't know. They discussed things downstairs.
Okay.
And then he left, and he called about 3 times a day to talk to his wife. I could hear him downstairs checking up on me. That was the first day. The second day, he called about 3 times a day. Nancy had made me coffee. We sat down, and Nancy was around all day with me, so we walked around. And she, if you see something, let me know. I'll touch it up. We had a good relationship going. It was great. But Mr. just kept on making me very uncomfortable by the way he talked to me. I even talked to Nancy about it, and Nancy said, well, it's just the way he is. He's Italian. And, to be knocking down my work, to be just looking over my back, to making comments.
What was the problem, though? He didn't pay you the $750, and what was the reason that he didn't pay you the $750?
He's saying on the last day, I needed to bring a bigger ladder to paint the foyer ceiling. It was like 10 by 10 or something. He's saying that the texture came down, and when I started rolling it, Your Honor, I just touched it and the texture fell down. It's that popcorn stuff, which is a mess. A lot of people have me strip it because they don't want it anymore because it's a problem. Anyways, I explained it to Nancy and them that. I called 3
Do you typically roll a popcorn ceiling, or do you spray it?
No, you roll it with roller with ceiling paint.
So he tells you he's not going to pay you the remaining $750 because of that?
Well, it went to I was done with the job. She had some company come in, and they said, wow, beautiful job, real nice. And she agreed to me at the door, and then she said I could pick up the check that night at 9 o'clock.
So you came back at 9 o'clock.
And they weren't there.
Okay.
The lights are on in the house. We knocked 2 or 3 times. So I called him on his cell phone and I said, I was told to pick up a check tonight and, what's up? And he said, screaming at me, my wife said we're going to the veterinarian tonight. And I said, no, she never said nothing like that to me.
What's going on?
When I came home, after we came home from the vet, I looked at the job. The popcorn was off the ceiling, and the painting wasn't even finished yet. And this is at 10 o'clock at night.
What wasn't finished?
The ceiling. I have pictures to show.
Okay, so are you saying that he left the job
He left
and
the
said
job,
it was complete
right.
and the ceiling wasn't finished?
Correct. And then the next morning, I
What
told
portion
him
wasn't finished?
the whole ceiling, where
He
he
didn't do
painted.
any of the ceiling. He
Where he
just did the
painted,
foyer.
where he painted, the popcorn came down, and you could see in the pictures how the roller stops, and he didn't continue doing the ceilings.
Because the
So-
popcorn fell down?
Yes, Your Honor. And then
Is that accurate that you didn't do the ceilings?
No, I painted the whole ceiling.
Okay,
What it
let's see
was-
the pictures.
See it.
What it
There was what?
Is I used another ceiling paint. Usually they match. It didn't match. So it was a little bit brighter of a white.
Well, that's not acceptable.
Right. But
Okay,
he was
why
going to
did
have
you-
the ceiling redone anyways by all his emails and stuff.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is you can't leave it like that and expect full payment.
I would have painted it, Your Honor, if the guy wasn't screaming at me and would not
Well, no, you
answer
at
my
that point you
letters.
were already saying, "Okay, I'm done. Pay me," and that's not a way to leave it and get paid. Go ahead, go on.
he said, it's not my problem. Whoever built your house didn't prime it properly, and that's why the popcorn ceiling fell off. He says, it's not my fault. It's not my responsibility. It's yours. I want my check because I have to pay my bills. I said, John, he said, until you fix the ceiling, I'm not going to pay you.
But what part? What about the popcorn part? I mean,
It should have been spray painted.
It came down. It's off the
I mean,
ceiling, Your
people
Honor.
roll popcorn. It's not like he's not the only guy who rolls
Well, I
popcorn.
understand, Your Honor, but
it shouldn't fall off
But
because
the
you touch
ceiling-
it
the
with a
ceiling-
roller.
You
Your
can
Honor.
see in the picture the ceiling, how it's...
That's different. I see the paint thing. I also see a lot of other stuff, like the paint dripping there. Where's that?
That was the den upstairs. And
What about this? It's like lighter, like there's a chunk that, what is that
yeah,
about?
there were spots in the walls where it wasn't all one color. You could see the
Why
white
would-
wall
I
coming
put
through.
2 coats on, in some places 3, because the colors they choose to go over colors, it wasn't covered.
Right, but this is kind of different. I don't know what's going on there. Look at that picture and tell me.
No.
It can't be a big deal. I mean, if you probably walked up, you couldn't see that it was really.
He got it in a picture. It's a big
deficiency.
deal. I mean, you can see it in a picture, and that's hard to capture. So what is that? What do you suppose is the reason for that? If there's like a
That it was dry there or something, or something before on the wall, or it didn't sink in properly, or it did sink in more than usual than other areas.
So what do you do to fix that?
You just got to let it dry and give it another coat.
Did you ever say to him, "Come on over and fix this stuff"? And
Yes.
No.
He told us it was our problem.
Your Honor, when I called him on that, when I talked to him on that Saturday, the only thing I mentioned to him, it was the ceiling, because he's telling me it's my responsibility, not his. So he wants me to pay him, and then I have to pay somebody else to fix his problems.
Well, what about the other stuff that you're complaining about now? Did you ever ask him to come fix
I
that?
never had a chance to tell him that because he wouldn't allow me to talk to him about it.
What's this?
That's the railing, the wood part, he got paint on it. He got paint on all the woodwork.
Let me have you respond to that.
Your Honor, that's the painter before. That's not me.
So the painter does a crappy job. Is he entitled to something or nothing? Let's go to Prince first.
I don't think nothing.
Nothing. He gets no money, so it's either all or nothing.
I think he gets something because he did some of the job, right?
He did some of the job, but he didn't do the job well.
Yeah. I think some of it, but just not the full amount that it was supposed to be.
Fair enough. Okay, we're going inside the courtroom.
When was this paint? Yeah, it is the same.
is
When was
not.
this
When I
painted
bought
before?
the house in '99.
Do you have you received a quote to fix the things that you're
Yes.
pointing out to me?
Yes. Plus, we have, Your Honor, emails from him also.
What company is this?
That's Better Business?
That's Danny's Painting. It's called Danny's Painting.
Why isn't it on there?
I don't know, Your Honor. That's the proposal he gave me.
Your Honor, I called 3 contractors.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, $2,300.
No,
The job itself, the entire job was 17.
Yeah,
but
that's- He's out of
this is a
control
proposal
with the
by
whole
whom? Some scribbled signature, absolutely no company name. I mean, that's kind of lame.
I know, I said that.
Did
when
you
he
kind of,
gave it
yeah,
to us.
what'd you do? Just get, buy this somewhere and
No, we
beef it
didn't, Your
up? Or
Honor.
did you ask
No,
somebody
I
to
didn't
beef it
make
up,
it
but
up.
they didn't want their name associated? There's no company name on here? Come on, guys.
Could I say something, Your Honor?
Yeah, tell me how it is you sue for $30 because you have too little money in the bank to have a business dispute. They didn't bounce a check, you bounced a check because you expected to get paid and didn't. They have a reason that they're withholding, and I agree with some of their reason. So how is it that they would have to pay $30 because you were tight on money that month? That's crazy.
Well,
what else did you want to say?
The contract says when job is completed, you get paid.
That's right, but the job was not complete.
And she okayed
The job was not complete. Look at me. The job was not complete. There are things there that are a problem, okay? You have a counterclaim, this is fascinating, for $1,925 because you want to sue him for the amount you didn't pay.
No, Your Honor.
Well, that's exactly what you did.
That was a mistake, Your Honor. We just wanted the money that we paid.
$1,175 for the amount of the paint job plus $750 for the amount I didn't pay for the paint job.
No, it means that that's what the price was, and the $750 is what we didn't pay him. We just wanted a refund of the money that we did give him.
And not have to owe him anything.
I wish you'd brought me a legitimate quote. Because now, what do we have to do, Douglas?
Looking like a little rough justice, Your Honor.
And what happens when I cast rough justice? Sometimes
Usually
they're
that
happy.
side's not there.
Sometimes they're not.
No.
Right? I just got to call it. First of all, let me explain to you. I don't know that you can pin on him that using a roller was the wrong way to do it. I mean, I'm sure there's a Johnny-come-lately saying, "Oh, you have to spray the ceiling." People don't spray the ceiling. When you get a quote for, unless you're getting a quote for spraying it, do you understand the preparation work that is involved in spraying it? That's not what you hired him for. You hired him to roll it, so you can't really. The spray would be such a special thing where everything else has to be covered. That's not in your contract. So you don't have the right to have demanded that. I agree with him that if some of it's falling off, it's the texture of the thing itself. It's not that part. It's not his fault.
Your Honor, can I say
no, you cannot. But the way the ceiling was left, where there's two different kinds of paints, the whole ceiling is going to have to be repainted. And the things that you're pointing out here, they're going to have to be fixed. That is not a $2,300 job. This I'm going to take and do this too because it's the garbage that you and I both know it is. Thank you. All right? I am going to order you to pay him some of this money that's remaining, but I'm going to let you keep what I think this is going to cost to repair. And that means I'm going to order you to pay him $450 of the remaining balance and allow you to keep $300 for the repairs, the touch-ups and stuff that I think are going to need to take place. That's my verdict. And on your counterclaim, 0.
Well, that leaves the plaintiffs with some money to conduct the repairs that you need to do. What's your reaction to the outcome?
I don't think it was fair. He destroyed my house, but what are you going to do? That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm. You destroy your house, so what do you do now? Hire the next guy? What kind of estimate was that on?
That was an estimate of a painter. That was an actual painter.
Where was the name on there?
But that's his business. He just has his name on there. He didn't put a company name himself. But that's not a bogus type of estimate. That's a real estimate. The guy is a painter. He's licensed.
Okay. All right. Right down this way. I hope it comes out well for you. All right. So step on in here. You got all your stuff there?
Yes.
What do you got there?
I just got my paperwork.
Uh-huh. You satisfied with what you got back?
No. This person, for one, from day one was screaming at me and threatening me, and it's just very uncomfortable. You try to be a painter and you're painting and trying to do a job, and somebody's there just consistently giving you a hard time.
Okay.
I mean, the job was thoroughly done, and
Harvey?
So here's the deal. The defendants are not entitled to get a brand new paint job. They are entitled to get a painter in to put the job in the position that it should have been had the plaintiff done a decent job in the first place. And that's it. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.